Everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather, and today I've got this really cool idea for a gnome. It started when I found these little ornaments at the dollar store. I think it was at Dollarama. These cute little booties. So $1.25 or $1.50, I'm not quite sure, but just saw them and I'm like, I love to make gnomes, and I usually end up making my own little booties out of the little party favors, but I saw these, I'm like, I have to make a gnome. Now the only problem with these size of boots is I got to make quite a taller gnome, and so I'm like, well, how am I gonna do this? I was looking at, you know, my kids' dolls and figure out, well, okay, what size of doll would fit this shoe? How tall does that doll have to be? So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to make a gnome who's almost 2 feet tall, and I've never really made any gnomes like at that size or that height. And so I'm like, well, there's got to be something else. So I decided that if I make their body with just a Santa hat, so I've got a Santa hat here, and I know it's quite a tall one. I couldn't find any smaller Santa hats, and I also didn't want to cut the Santa hat off, because I might be able to, and if this doesn't work, then I don't want to cut the hat and I can reuse the hat for something else. But I decided, well, no, this would be, you know, like the gnomes, you see their hat and then you see their feet. You don't really see much, you know, you don't really have to see a lot of their body. So I decided that I'm going to make their hat. Now, I forgot to stuff this, so I'm going to have to open this and stuff it with paper bags or something. I was going to do that, and then I forgot to do that. But so I thought, well, the hat and then the boots, and then I said, well, if the hat sits flat, so I'm going to make the girl gnome first because she's going to be so much easier. So I'm going to make her like a big frilly skirt out of the deco mesh, and then the feet can be just, so this would sit flat on your table, and then the feet would just dangle off. And then for him, I was going to have a big bushy beard, but I can't find my faux fur stuff at the moment. So I'm going to put him to the side. So today I'm just going to make my little female gnome. So like I said, I've already got this partially done, but now I've got to undo some of this glue here, because now I got to stuff the hat so it will stand up. So I'm just going to undo this a little bit. You don't need to undo a lot, just need enough that I've got. I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife that's sitting here, just so I can cut some of this there. Oops, I didn't really want to rip the cardboard, but that's okay, because I can always tape it and glue it together. But I just need enough of a hole so I can fit some shopping bags in there. So I'll set this aside and I will do that in a few moments. But for her skirt, I knew I wanted to make it out of tulle or mesh. So right now I made all my little mesh bundles. So it's just strips of deco mesh that I cut to, I think, about 5 or 6 inches. I don't know. I just kind of randomly folding it and cutting it. And then I took 2 pieces and just did that finger walking to get them to bunch up. And I just used some fine, like, I've got white, it's almost like floral wire, and I made a whole bunch of bundles of them using up odd rolls that I had. So I've got some that are just the straight white, and then I got some that are white with some of this Halloween color, because there was a few pieces sitting around from Halloween. So I just stuck them in some white and silver ones, and then I got some red and silver. I think, yeah, so I got a big bundle of them. This took me, to cutting out all the tulle and making all these little bundles, this took me an hour and a half. I sat and watched a Christmas movie while making these bundles for my little girl gnome. I do have some tulle, which I'll probably use as a filler, but I thought, no, I'm going to start by getting these done first. I've worked with this deco mesh lots before on previous videos, and I'm going to be making other stuff with some of this, so I will show you how to do it. I just don't have the mesh actually in front of me, but when I go to make the little bundles with the tulle, it'll be the same process. So I just have to go and grab the shopping bags to fill this hat, And I have to grab the material to make her legs. I'm not sure if I'm going to do arms yet or not. I'm just going to see how it looks with the hat and the feet. So I'll just be back in just a couple minutes. Okay, so I just stuffed like 3 or 4 shopping bags up in the hat just to give it some of that extra bit of height. So now I'm just going to glue this back together. So this little round circle, it's about 5 or 5.5 inch circle. Glue's very hot, and yet I know it's hot, and I always stick my finger in the hottest part of it. See, I'm just going to use this and just see. Let's see, where's my inches on this side? So the circle, it's I don't know, maybe 8 inch, but I thought I traced a small pan. I don't know. I traced a 5-inch springform pan. So you're looking at the outside of a springform pan. So even though I know the inside is like that 5 inches, the outside's a little bit bigger. So it could be about, you know, at least 6 inches. Maybe, I know it's over 6. I see where the 6 is. It says it's almost 8-inch circle. So I guess that's, yeah, it is quite bigger than I thought. There we go. So that's the basis of her head so far. Like I said, so I've got all these little bundles here. And I made, and like I said, some of these are straight white, some of these are white and like a gold color. So the gold ones I thought would be fun to have kind of near the front, just as a different color, or just to kind of put them through. I don't even know how many they were. It was just a few little strips of. So all I'm going to do is take this hat upside down, and I'm just going to start to glue these on around the outside. And I left because normally I cut these things off, but I've kept all the little extra long wires on so I can kind of use that to help hold and glue them in place as well. So that's all I'm going to do is just start to glue these little bundles together. Or just not glue them together, start to glue them on to the hat here. However they're going to fit. Tricky when you can't see white on white, and I can't see where the glue is. Oops. And then this one pops off. This is going to be, it takes a while to get the first couple glued on, and I'm not too worried about it, but see, that's going to be the start of her big fluffy dress. Actually, maybe I'm going to start gluing these, maybe I'll put these further apart, just so I've got more work with, and then I can get them overlapping as I need to. There, that might be easier. Just start to glue these on here, and I haven't really decided where the front is, where the back is. I will figure that out as I am gluing this stuff together. Kind of where's her front and where's her back. This is the fun thing about crafting, is you get an idea, you see something, and you want to make something out of it, and you just start making. And you just take whatever supplies you have and just put them together. And I will say, I've got a cup, there's the white deco mesh that I have here is not Dollar Tree deco mesh. These other ones are all Dollar Tree, and you can see the difference. The silver one, it really frayed, and this red one didn't fray as bad as this silver one. But this silver one, when I cut into it, it was just fraying really, really bad. This white one, I don't know where it's from. I got it probably at like a secondhand shop or a garage sale or something like that. That's always a good place to go get craft supplies. So I'm not going to go to like Walmart or Michael's and spend a lot of money on crafting supplies. Like, I'll go there if there's something specific I need for one craft, but I'm not that type of a person. I'm like, I just craft for like myself, like around my own home. I mean, I said, definitely if I was buying the supplies to make this and to sell it, I definitely would not I would definitely not recommend this dollar store deco mesh. They've had some better ones in the past, but some of their newest stuff I've really noticed has like, some items have gotten better and some items have gotten a little bit worse in recent years. I don't know if it's just, I don't know what that has to do with. It could just be whoever their supplier is cheaped out somewhere along the line or what happened, but I do know they've had some better stuff in the past. Now look at that. That's already starting to look really good. And I'm just going to go like for here, because it's going to be, you know, I want it to, this to stand up. So I'm going to have to make another layer of this on top of here. So I'm even going to just cover this whole cardboard with all of this stuff, having as much of it visible as possible, but some of it's going to be kind of like underneath her just to give some height. So when she's on the table or bookshelf or wherever I'm going to put her, she's got some height to her. And this is going to take a while to glue all these on here. Gonna keep doing this, and some of these they want to stick or don't want to stick. And the good thing is though, deco mesh kind of attaches to itself because it's kind of you know, metal in there wants to stick to itself and get tangled with each other, so that's going to help for a little bit too, to help hold them in place until this glue sets up. So I'm just going to keep gluing all these around in various places. Now, I think I should have, you know, glued these onto the cardboard and then did the hat, but I don't know if that would have worked either. I don't know. Because crafting is just one of those things. You get an idea, you want to do it, and then partway through, like, oh, I wonder if it would work easier if I did it the other way. Did this step first. Sometimes it's hard to know which step would work best first. And if any of these that fall off, I'm just going to re-glue them in place. It may not be exactly where they were originally, but that's okay. So I'm just going to keep gluing these on. I'm just trying to make a nice, big, full, fluffy skirt. So I'll be back when I get all these glued into place. Unless any bundles of little things that fall on the floor, I've got them all done, and it actually quite looks like a really interesting centerpiece. I think I really like the way it's looking. Of course, doing that, I kind of squished all the bags down, and so there's not enough bags in the top part, so I'm going to have to play around and get these bags to come back up into the top here, which I can kind of play around with it and kind of push the hat down so it's not, you know, as big. I mean, you can't even see the white trim of the hat, but that's okay because that's it's an interesting look. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to work on the feet. Now, these two booties, the two styles, and there's something that fell in here. Oh, a walnut shell. That was from something else that I was, actually this is in a box of secondhand Christmas ornaments. There was some homemade little things that were falling apart with the walnut shells. So, didn't want them. I didn't need them this year, but I just decided to keep them in case I decide to do something with them later. I haven't fully decided, but I think with her outfit having the red and white, I'm trying to figure out for the little guy, Gnome, which one would I give him? I think for her, I'm going to stick with just the red and white shoes. So I'm just going to cut these all off. I want to make her feet so they will dangle off the edge. So I've got this nice big chunk of this fleece. So I'm not quite sure how big of a piece I need, but I'm just going to cut this up because I got way too big of a piece here. So I'm just going to, oops, fabric scissors don't want to cut through the fabric for some reason. There we go. Probably because I've used them for other things. Okay, so I've got this. This is going going to be way too big of a leg, but I'm just going to see how long I want her leg to be. And I can trim this to the size I want. So I'll be rolling this up. I don't know how thick I want it to be. It's based on how big it has to fit in this opening here. I think that will be a good thickness for one. So this is the size I want to use. Now it's not a perfectly square chunk that I'm working with. I'm just going to fold this way because I think I can, this is more straighter. This side is a little bit easier to work with. This way. Sorry about hitting the camera, but I'm just trying to get my material over here folded so I can cut out the same size of pieces, or about the same size. They're not going to be perfect because this material is just an odd piece of material I had that I gotten for free, and somebody had made stuff out of this, and this is just all the excess pieces that they didn't need, and it's just all cut funny. So I'm going to cut this in half, and this will give me a material for her 2 legs. And it's okay if the legs are going to look extra long right now. I'm not worried about that. I just want the right thickness, and I know one's going to be longer and one's going to be shorter, and they're not quite perfectly even or squared off. That's, again, that's okay for me right now. A little bit more even now. So all I'm going to do is just going to fold this one to the center, and then fold this one over just so I get a nice tube. And then she'll have, like, the back of her leg will have, like, her socks or stockings will have that nice clean edge. I just got to figure out which is the front of rings are turning on me. Just got to figure out which side I like the feel of better. Okay, I like this. Okay, so these are the front. So I'll turn it this way so I've got the right sides facing down. And I'm just going to find where the center would be, about here. I'm just going to put a line of glue. And I said, I'm not worried if it's too long at the moment or anything. I'm just trying to get these made pretty even. And it's always fine if you want to make the arms or legs more even. I always make them at the same time. Now, I had thought about putting a pipe cleaner in the leg so I could bend it, but I just couldn't find my pipe cleaner today. I've just seemed to be a lot of crafting supplies that for some reason I can't find right now. I'm just going through getting rid of extra stuff, so that just happens. Moving things around and just can't find what you're looking for. So there is the one. Oops. I'm gonna hurt myself. I keep banging my rings on everything. Okay, just gonna make sure I got where the center is. It's about here. My hot glue guns just don't want to work. I was making something the other day and my glue guns were not working either, and then I did find my new hot glue gun, but it's a high temp one, and I just didn't want to use the high temp for this particular craft. Although it might have made it a lot easier to glue the little deco mesh on. But for some reason my My glue gun's just the trigger, does not want to pop back up. I think I've got glue stuck in there. That happens. So I'll just, when I'm done crafting for the day, then I will go and let the glue gun cool down and then see if there's any glue stuck in there. Now I know I didn't make this neat. I should have folded it over inside itself. I usually do that so I get a nicer, neater finished edge, but I forgot. But I just kind of even it up a little bit. And then I've got one side that's thinner and one side that's thicker. So the thicker side I'm going to put into the shoe. I'm just going to even this up a little bit more. And I want her legs to be the same length, so it's pretty close to the same. So I'm just going to trim. Does not want to cut. There. We've got her legs the same length. Because it's going to be dangling, I thought it'd be fun to keep them a little bit longer. That's probably longer than I need. Like I said, I haven't decided if I want to give her arms. And if I give her arms, then maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll cut these in half and I'll give her arms as well. Find about where the center would be. There. Try these scissors. Give her arms and legs. These are the thicker ones, so these thicker ones I will put in the, I will glue them into the boot. Just going to open this up a little bit. Like that, so I can get some that in, so it looks like her legs are in the boot fully. A little bit more. There. So I can get this in here and I can just glue this pant or glue her leg in there like that. And I'll do the same for the other one. I got up a little bit. This one was easier to do. So maybe I'll do it all the way up. There. And that kind of gives some creases in there. Now it looks more like a real leg and it's not so stiff. So I'll do this one like that too, if I can. I just have to go slowly and just pull the glue and fabric apart. There. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in here. I'm just going to do one spot at a time. This is going to be the tricky part, but I'll just do it slowly. I'm just going to roll this down so I can get my hand in here too. Just glue this in place. There. I've got her leg glued into her boot. And when I pull this up, there we go. So we got one foot glued in, and then I'll do the next one the same way. So I'm going to do this a little bit different because I'm going to roll this down first before I try to do the boot thing. There. Just got to make sure I get the back. So I'm going to glue the back part in first. Along with the seam, that's the back. And I just tuck this in and then just glue all around the sides. And with my fingers, just push it from the inside and push it around the boot. There we go. And then slowly unravel this, and there we go. She's got her. Gotta fix this. This I didn't glue on. Now we've got her feet glued on to her legs. I'm going to bring her back over here and I'm going to glue her feet on. Just to figure out where her feet are going to go. So she sits like this. This would be the front, and then I want her feet to be there. So I'm going to glue. Just gotta put this on my lap. This on my lap just so I can figure out where the feet are gonna get glued to. Then you can't see what I'm doing, and I can't see what I'm doing because then it's just too low. Okay, so decided I don't know which is gonna be the front, which is gonna be the back until I get her feet glued on. So I'm just gonna lift up this here, and I'm just gonna glue right here. Gonna put the glue right here. And that's gonna be the one leg. Is that right? Just gotta make sure the legs go in the right direction. Yep. Oops. And just glue the other leg right close to that one. Just over one little spot. Glue the second leg on. Just make sure I've got the feet facing the right direction. Yep. And where did I put the glue? Now I can't see where the glue is. Oh, there's the glue. Glue this one on. And then just flip it around. Just gotta make sure her feet are facing the same direction. There we go. Pretty much close to the same direction. I will fix that in a second. Oops. Oh, that one is gone wrong direction. They both just want to turn. Okay, there we go. I've got them both facing the same direction now, so there she is. Now if I made her stand, if I actually made her legs with the dowels, she could stand. I think I like the idea that I can put her on a shelf and her feet would dangle off the shelf. And now I'm going to give her her hands. Okay, so just going to grab this, just going to figure out where her arms would be in all this stuff. I guess just right here. I'm just gonna put some glue here. Like I said, with all this tulle and everything that's all, because this is the deco mesh stuff, there's no point in trying to give her a nose. I wouldn't know where to put it. It'd be hard to see. Same with this one. I'm just going to put some glue all over. I'm just putting glue on all around the outside of the top of where her arms would be. And I'm just kind of tucking it in. All this stuff in here. Just kind of having it just kind of tuck in and just kind of come out and around. do like the size of her. I've never made a gnome quite, I mean, I've made some larger gnomes, but I've never made a gnome where it's like she's sitting, and I mean, she takes up about the same amount of, like, on here is like, as like a little toddler would take up this amount of room sitting here. Like, you know, oh, she's got this chunk of this deco mesh stuff here I gotta move. Make it go this way, make her arm come this way. There we go. It's pretty easy to move this stuff. The glue is, you know, pretty forgiving. It's hot glue. It's still a little sticky and tacky, so I can kind of move it. So there's her arms now. But I want to give her something to hold. I'm just trying to figure out what can she hold that's all Christmassy. I have these little deer sitting here. Let's see. Oh, that would look cute. She can hold this little deer ornament that I had just sitting here. Let's see. I'm just gonna glue her hands. I'm just gonna put the one, because they're like tubes, so I'm just gonna put one inside the other. Just stick the one inside the other, like that. Now her hands are kind of, just do this again, so I've just opened up this one, just stuck the one hand inside the other like that, and I'm going to glue that shut. So this is why I love crafting, is just look around, and if you're like me, you're in your craft room and you're surrounded by so much stuff. And it's like, oh, I really want to use these deer. I have got 2 of these, and I just found them the other day. I'm like, I want to do something with them, and I hadn't figured out what I was going to do with them. But this is perfect. Let's see, and it looks like there, she can hold the deer. There we go. I'm not even going to glue the deer in place. I'm just going to tuck it in and around her arm like this. There we go. There is my little girl gnome. Now I can't wait to make the boy gnome. So I have to find my faux fur for his beard, but I can't figure out where it is. All I have right now is this stuff, and this is just this really thin yarn, and it's too thin. So that is her. She is done. I'm gonna set her somewhere in my living room on a shelf, and I'll be back when she is displayed. And I will have to make a second video with my boy gnome, because now I've got a deer and he's got to hold a deer too now. So I will be back when I've got her displayed. There's the little girl gnome. I've got her sitting on this little table here. I like how her feet just kind of stick out. I still think I'm going to add a nose. I haven't quite figured out what to do for a nose quite yet, but there she is. Again, I just want to say a great big thank you to everybody who's watching my videos and subscribed to my channels. And I definitely can't wait till I make her little friend. So I'm sorry about that. Just say, yeah, I can't wait till I make her little friend there. So I will see you all in my next videos. Bye.